In this video, I would like to discuss top important key podcasts that will help you in your investment journey as a beginner investor and even as an experienced investor. You need this podcast to help you to broaden your investment knowledge and help you to obtain better results, better returns on your investments as a stock investor. And so here are some podcasts that are great for beginners who want to learn about investing in stocks. And these are educational and general investment podcasts. Number one is the Investors Podcast. So it is hosted by Preston. I don't know how to pronounce the second name, but I've been listening to them, many years back. I have their downloaded materials. So it is Preston. Is it Preston's Psych or so? I've forgotten. I don't know how to pronounce this thing. And Stick Brenderson. These podcasts, features interviews with renowned investors and financial experts, focusing on various investment strategies and markets insights. Generally, they invite experienced investors. Some have been in the market for the past 30 years, some 40 years, some 20 years. These are experts, in investing, usually value investors and other investment genre. They interview them and then, harness or rather, seek their insights in investing. When you get to listen to them, I'm telling you, you're going to shaping your investment skills as an investor. Please contact this channel. It will do you a ton of goods, actually. Number two is Bigger Pocket Money Podcast. Just go online, you Google Bigger Money Podcast, you come across them, then of course it will go a long way in helping you out as an investor. It's hosted by Scott Trench and Mindy Jensen. Actually, this podcast, covers personal finance and investing basics, including stock market strategies, as well as some actionable tips on how you could become a better investor. And we shouldn't forget number three, very popular indeed, is the Monthly Full Money Podcast. It's a very important and popular podcast I would like us to key into. And actually, they provide weekly updates on the market analysis, market news, trends in the market, investment strategies, as well as overview on industry experts, offering valuable insights for new investors. A new investor, please key into this. Don't just listen. All right. As you're listening, you take actionable tips. Go right there, Google it out, go to YouTube and access these particular sites I'm talking about, the Monthly Full. It will go a long way in making you a better investor. Number four is How to Money. How to Money. It's hosted by Joel and Matt. This podcast discusses personal finance, including stock market basics, with practical advice and easy to understand explanations. Number five is Money for the Rest of Us. Money for the Rest of Us. It's hosted by David Stein. This podcast covers investment strategies and financial topics, including stock investing, as well as accessible formats for beginners. When you go in there, you analyze them, you key into them, you watch, you listen attentively. It will boost your understanding and enhance your knowledge on how to be versatile, as an investor. The second category is investment strategies and tips. This podcast covers different investment strategies and tips that will help you as an investor. It comes down to number 6, the Rich Dad's Radio Show. It's hosted by the popular Robert Kiyosaki. This podcast provides financial education and investment tips, including insights on stock markets, investing, personal finance, as well as real estate. So Kiyosaki is a very popular personal finance guru. So key into this particular radio show and it will do you a ton of good as an investor. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. It will do you a ton of good. Number 7 is invest like the best. Invest Like the Best podcast. It is hosted by Patrick O'Shaughnessy. This podcast features interviews with top investors and financial experts, offering insight into stock market strategies and investment principles. Personally, I like this particular podcast. I listen to it whenever I have the opportunity. It's hosted by Patrick O'Shaughnessy. Number 8 is the Smart Passive Income Podcast. The Smart Passive Income Podcast is hosted by Pat Klein. This podcast explores various investment strategies, including stock investing, with practical advice and tips for building wealth. What a wonderful podcast. Please try to access this podcast. It will be of tremendous help to you. Number 9 is a Financial Independence Podcast, hosted by Chad Carson. This podcast covers personal finance and investment tips, including stock market investing, with a focus on achieving financial independence. You want to be free financially, you want to be financially independent, then of course you need to, key into this podcast. Listen to it. It will do you a ton of good. Number 10 is the Stacking Benjamin Show. The Stacking Benjamin Show is hosted by Joe Saul Sheehy and other financial experts. This podcast provides a light-hearted yet informative approach to personal finance and investing, including stock market basics. Please don't just listen or watch. I would like you to go and access this podcast. It will do you a ton of good. It will help you to become a better investor. And as a better investor, it will promote, your investment knowledge, enhance your knowledge on strategies, and by so doing, you will have a better result, a better performance at the end of the day.